Hi, this is Tanko Mobile, and I'm doing my first video review tonight of the Nokia N75. I picked this device up about a month ago when it was released because I wanted to check out a branded locked Symbian N-series Nokia smartphone, and also because this is the first 3G North American compatible frequency-wise 3G Symbian smartphone Nokia N-series device. So not only that, but there's really hasn't been too many Symbian smartphones released by the US carriers in the last few years, never mind N-series, and never mind capable of 3G. So now I'm going to give you a quick tour of the physical, the outside of the device, and so you can have a feel for it. First of all, it's a clamshell, aka a flip phone. I'm not too keen on this form factor myself, but some people like it. Actually, a lot of people like it, judging by the popularity of the Razr. Speaking of Razr, I have a Motorola Razr right here, so we can do a size comparison of the Nokia N75 and a Razr. And as you can see, they're very similar in footprint, and then in thickness, well, I'm afraid the Razr wins. But it's only about 75% the thickness of the N75. So the N75 is not a particularly large phone, and it's also not a particularly heavy phone. It's about the same weight and size as the N95, and I would put it in the middle of the pack. It might not be light enough and small enough for some people, but if that's the case, then check out the N76, because that's really the very swell Nokia N-series Symbian smartphone. So let me give you a quick tour. The front here is media buttons. They are also used as soft keys, and you can use most Series 60s apps on this front screen, which is a transflective. You can watch, you can see it in the sunlight type of screen. It's not a high resolution screen, but it's pretty good. And to help with using the front screen, there's also these side buttons, which are pretty standard N-series fare. The camera button, shutter, and brings up the camera. The imaging button brings up the image gallery, and the zoom in and out, volume up and down, but also scroll up and down on the front screen buttons. In the back, you have two stereo speakers on each side, and you probably don't see them, but they're right there. And the power button, of course, standard Nokia fare here. Camera is with a flash, no autofocus, and no manual macro mode, which is unfortunate, I think. There's nothing down here. And let's see what else. In the back, there's the battery compartment and the camera as well. I'm just going to quickly show you this. The battery is a BL5BT, and the SIM card lives in this unusual little slit up here. Let me show you how it works. You push the SIM card in like this, and it stays, oh, it didn't. It's supposed to stay in place. There you go, it stays in place. And then there's a lever down there. Let me try to trigger it maybe the other way. That will pop the SIM card out like that. So it's more like, it's an unusual arrangement. And let me pull it out like right there. It's kind of like what I've seen on data cards, but never on a phone. So it's a little unusual. Let's see, I'm going to turn this on now, and in a moment we'll hear the singular startup sound, which is different than the Nokia doo-doo-doo-doo-doo sound. And then here, the inside has a keypad, which is pretty standard Nokia N-series. The only thing I wish it was the keypad is a little too flush. So every now and then when you push the buttons, you get the keys next to it there and there instead. So that was a little unusual, but the feel is really good. It's better than the N80, not as nice as the N95, the keypad. This is the N-series, sorry, the singular startup sound we just heard. And so look at the beautiful brightness of this inner screen. It is a 2.4-inch screen that's almost as good as the 2.6-inch on the N95. It's that good. And surrounding it is a kind of gunmetal colored shiny bezel, which is not so good for smudges, but is very, very sexy looking, I think. You have a light sensor up there, the singular logo down here. Singular logo is also on the front there, and yeah, the other side here has a bunch of ports. I noticed I mentioned there's nothing down there, but there's a pop port here. Next to it is charger port, and then next to that is a micro SD slot. I have a 1 gig card in there right now. This can take up to 2 gigabyte cards. So, you know, that kind of gives you a feel for the outside of the unit. You can see the little transflective screen is actually quite lovely. I'm running the turquoise theme right now, the standard Nokia turquoise, which is my favorite. But let me show you what Nokia's done and what Singular's done. This is a branded and locked phone, so I've tried other SIM cards. They don't work. I knew that. But as far as branding goes, other than the branding on the device itself, Singular included a very lovely theme. I'm not very, very keen generally on customizations made by carriers to phones, but this one is actually quite a nice theme. It's a high contrast orange and black theme that Singular developed with Nokia, I presume. Let me show it to you. So there's turquoise, and going into Singular, there you go. It's very, very nice. Let me go back a little bit, and there's the standby screen and the outside. As you can see, they did a pretty decent job. Anyway, the only drawback to this particular theme is, let me show you, is that see the menu items. I don't know if you can see very well, but there is a white line across the menu item, you know, because they're trying to go for simulate the Aqua OS X Web 2.0 look, which is great, but unfortunately it's a white line on top of white text, so it kind of kills the readability of the text. Actually, you can see it now a little bit better that it's faded. The display is faded. You see that right there? The white line on top of the menu selected item. That could be improved. So that's my only gripe with the built-in. Surprisingly, Singular did not screw up a lot of stuff on this phone. This phone, I was able to install any Symbian and Java app and get them to work and get them to go over the network. No problem whatsoever. I had to set the date back on some of them so the certificates would be accepted, but that's the same as any other Nokia N-series phone I've used. So I'm very impressed that Singular didn't cripple this phone too badly. The other thing I was going to talk about, I'm going to actually go back to my preferred theme, just because I'm like that. But the other thing I want to talk about, and a lot of you want to know, is the 3G. And well, the 3G is a mixed bag on this phone, and I'll tell you why in a second. My take was, I knew what I was getting to when I got this. It's UMTS, not HSDPA, meaning about 384 kilobits per second is the maximum data speed, and that also means that it doesn't do like megabit speed level HSDPA type performance.